Emisión.net.
Hello again and welcome to Letter from England, broadcasting for AC Press and the Spanish Evangelical Alliance. This week we look at the very unusual but most encouraging story to come out of Cuba, that the regime of Fidel Castro is paying for the publication of an evangelical biography. It's the first time the Cuban government has financed a book which is neither political nor revolutionary in nature, although perhaps that's not entirely true, because it is the biography of a political revolutionary, a man called Frank Pais. The full title of the book, Frank Pais, an Evangelical Leader in the Cuban Revolution, gives the picture more completely. The biography has been written by the chairman of our news agency here at AC Press, Juan Antonio Monroy, and has been republished in Cuba in a project financed by the government there, and has recently been presented at the Junco Palace Museum in Jumorina, a town in Cuba, before going on sale at the International Book Fair in Havana earlier this year. The Cuban National Book Institute has printed 8,000 copies of the book, an unusual enough event in itself, given that the Culture Ministry does not normally allow more than 3,000 copies of any book to be published. Another surprise for Cuban evangelicals is that the government has produced this new edition but retained the original title of the book, a title which includes the words Evangelical Leader. So it's clear that Pais was not just a Cuban hero, but a follower of Jesus Christ. And even more to be thankful for is the fact that to facilitate its sale to ordinary Cubans, the government is selling the book in local currency and not in American dollars. Well, who was Frank Pais? He was the son of Francisco Pais, pastor of Marin Evangelical Church in Galicia, northwest Spain, and also a missionary in nearby Pontevedra. Frank was invited to be the pastor of the First Baptist Church of Santiago de Cuba, where he went with his wife. However, once in Cuba, his first wife died, and he remarried. His second wife, from Marin, bore him 3 children. He continued his ministry in Santiago, preaching and apparently also playing the piano at the Baptist Church. He had a great concern for the needy, visiting prisoners, and also led the church's youth group. Well, thus far, a fairly normal, if stimulating picture of a committed Christian and church leader. But Frank Pais is considered a hero of the revolution because of his leadership qualities and involvement in Castro's overthrow of the Batista regime in the 1950s. From the storming of Moncada barracks in 1953 onwards, Pais combined his Christian faith with his revolutionary fervour. Monroy comments, "Such a combination may appear strange, and many people have criticized it, but studying Pais's character, one can understand it." And this unusual combination is perfectly illustrated in a painting in the Cuban Revolutionary Museum, which portrays Pais with a Bible and a pistol. Fidel Castro appointed Pais provincial leader of the July 26th movement, having met him and interviewed him twice in Mexico. Pais organized Castro's disembarkation on Cuba and the movement of his guerrillas into the Sierra Maestra hills. At the tender age of 21, Pais organized revolutionary groups all over the island and became one of Castro's most trusted lieutenants. While Castro fought in the hills, Pais worked in secret in the civil sector, exposing himself to all manner of risks. He was put in prison several times, but always managed to escape, and during that period he became acquainted with none other than Eduardo Che Guevara, who, says Monroy, virtually owes his title of commander to Pais, as the first time he signed a letter as such was in one sent by Fidel Castro to Frank Pais, informing him of the death of his brother Josue in combat at the age of 19. Pais was a committed Christian, but Castro's regime always hid this aspect of his life from his fellow Cubans due to their Marxist ethos, even though Pais became a martyr of the revolution, eventually being captured and shot by the Batista regime. However, even after Castro's forces won the struggle for Cuba, they then, as I say, hid the fact that he was an evangelical Christian. Monroy says they spoke of Frank Pais as a political revolutionary, but not as an evangelical. And only now are the current generation of Cuban evangelicals discovering the truth about this amazing figure of their country's history. He continues to divide opinions among Christians, some who think he should never have joined the revolution, while others applaud him for doing so, while keeping his faith in Jesus intact. Fascinating figure then, and another sign of the opening up of Cuba, and a reminder also of the extent to which the gospel has spread in that Caribbean island. Thank you for listening to Letter from England, broadcasting each week at emission.net. Goodbye.
Emisión.net